Today we're gonna automate the inside bar strategy, a super powerful strategy and pretty beginner friendly. We're gonna build it in Profectus in a few blocks, but I'm also gonna show you on the charts how this trading plan looks, what the results are, and let's dive into it straight away. So the market tends to break out after a consolidation period. This is what I learned over the decade trading, is by watching the charts. You see we go from consolidation to breakouts to consolidation to breakouts. All right, and if you know that behavior, why not build a strategy based on that? And in my opinion, that's the inside bar strategy. Let me draw it out very shortly. If we have a box where price is just behaving in, this can be an inside bar. We are not really creating new highs, we are not creating really new lows. So that's this same box. Price is just consolidating on a lower time frame. And then we might spike above it or below it, but in general, there's not much going on. But then if we do break out of this smaller consolidation or this bigger consolidation, then we often see a trend to the upside or a trend to the downside. And how to define this is first of all by focusing on what is consolidation. And for me, that is like a doji pattern or an imbalance pattern. I'm gonna show you in this video what an imbalance pattern is and how you define that really mechanically in Profectus AI. But we also have an inside bar. So an inside bar here is if this candle, we're gonna call that candle ID 1, so the last closed candlestick, and we have candle ID 2, the candle before that, and the candle 2 needs to be bigger than the candle 1, okay? What does bigger means? Well, the high of candle 2, the high, is higher than the candle 1 high, yeah? That's right here. And the same is true at the bottom. So we have the candle low here and we have the candle low here. So the low is lower of candle 2 compared to candle 1 and the high is higher than the high of 1. Okay? And then if you know that, if you can just define it like I just did with you, then you can put it into an algorithm. And whatever trading strategy you trade, if it is ICT, supply and demand, you can define everything to blocks in Profectus. You just need the guidance, and therefore we make so many tutorials on this YouTube channel and help you out in the Discord channel. But back to this trading plan, we are looking for, yesterday needs to be consolidation. That is this imbalance candlestick, right? This candle 1, so C1. Then we have yesterday needs to be an inside bar, and that is comparing C2 with C1, so candle 1, okay? And that is right there. And then we place a buy pending and a sell pending at once. Where? Well, you can place it right here, or you can place it on this candle, okay? And then this candle low, you can place it, and this candle. So in my opinion, it is the best case scenario if you place a buy here, and then you trade the breakout to that side, and a sell pending right here, and trade it that way. You can easily adjust it and then place your orders maybe on the bigger candles. So you trade this breakout, or you use this as a scale in. But we're gonna keep it simple and beginner friendly for now. But this is the overall trading plan. We're gonna enter a buy with a 1 to 5 risk to reward and a trailing stop loss, and the same for the sell side. We're gonna place a sell stop. If the low breaks, we're gonna trade in that direction, okay? If you don't believe in that trading plan, or you want to have a reversal trading plan, you can of course also test it the other way around. You buy the low and the sell the high. But for now, we're going for breakout strategies because they are easily built, easily testable, and normally breakout is more profitable. Let me show you in Profectus how you build this. In Profectus, how this works, if you're new, this is your canvas, and here you have the blocks you can drag and drop on the canvas. Everything on the canvas gets triggered every time the market moves. And then if you use a when to trade block, that is the block that gets activated every time when the market moves, and then your algorithm reads what is in it. And here you have, normally I use 1 at night, so that's after spread hour. You have your algorithm looking at your setup if you run this on a daily time frame, which we now do in this example. So run at time, it gets triggered, and then at 1 it passes through, the gate is open once at 1 at night, and then it's gonna check, is the candle body size of the last candle smaller than the candle total size in pips times 0.5. How does this work? Well, what we want to see is an imbalance candlestick. You see here this imbalance, and then the day after we trade. You see here this imbalance day after you trade. But if you're new to imbalances, what is it? It's a price stalling. Here you have a beautiful balance as well, here as well. You can see that we have trades after imbalances, but not always, because we have two rules, remember? We need to see an imbalance, but it also needs to be an inside bar. But let's first start by the imbalance. How to define that? The body is, of course, the red thing you see here from open and close. And then you have your wick. So a wick is normally at the top and the bottom of a candle. These are the wicks, these are the bodies. And what we want to see is that the wick is bigger on both sides. So you take the upper wick and the bottom wick, and that is bigger than the body. And then we have a formula that we compare the body with the total size and then times 0.5. But in a nutshell, you just see a candle with a big wick, and that is an imbalance. So this is an imbalance, this is an imbalance, this is an imbalance, this is an imbalance, okay? If we then go back, after this is valid, so at 1 we check this. Is the last candle an imbalance? If the answer is no, the algorithm will just wait for the rest of time until it's again tomorrow 1 at night, and it will ask the same question again, like, do we now have an imbalance, the last candle? Okay, and we're just gonna ask that every day, and then one day it's true, then we're gonna check something else, and that's the candle high of 2 is higher than the candle of 1, and if that is true, then also the low of 2 is below the candle 1 low. If we go back to the charts here, you can see that this is indeed an imbalance. And this wick of candle 1 and this candle 2, at that moment of time, this high is lower than that one, and this low is higher than that one. And that's exactly what we asked here in Profectus. Check if the candle high of 2 is higher than the candle high of 1, okay? And then if that is true, also the low needs to be lower than 1. So candle 2 in general is just a very big candle compared to 1, and therefore 1 is an inside bar. If we have that pattern, so we have an imbalance and we have an inside bar, what do we do then? We place a sell pending order on the candle low of 1. You can of course also place it on 2. That's just what you want to test. I would test both. And if you then place the candle, the sell pending on the candle low of 1, how does that look on the charts? Well, that means that if we take this example, here at the bottom we had a sell pending, and here at the top we place the buy pending. You can see that here. Candle high of 1, we placed the buy pending. In this case, we triggered the buy and we moved higher, and I think we hit our target, and we never reached this low, so that order was deleted. How do you delete an order? Well, multiple ways, but we have order expiration at 9 in the evening. So we place it at 1, and then 9 in the evening, if it is not triggered, we delete the order. But you can also, of course, use run at time, and then if you want to delete them maybe at 2100 as well, you can also just select the trades and select the pending orders, and then maybe buys and sells. So you connect this like that, and then you close or delete orders. I think it is better to use delete orders, and then you delete the order. So this would be the same, but we made it easy that you can also just have it here. So now you do a double, that doesn't make sense, so we're gonna delete this. But that's how you delete your orders. If you use market execution, so buy now, sell now, you also have an expiry in these blocks, and it means auto close. So you take a buy position, you are in the market, so you don't have just a pending order sitting there, but you are already in the market. You can also have an auto close, but you can also build it with blocks. Like, there are a billion ways to build the same thing. And yeah, we just have this many blocks because there are of course a billion different strategies you want to automate. And by having these blocks, you can do that. Then we have here select all trades, check profit. If we are floating more than 2%, once per trade, I want to change my stop loss and lock in minus 100. This means that you want to, if you set this at minus 1, you will just take 1% of your stop loss into profits. If you do minus 100, you lock in 100% of your stop loss size in profits. In general, that is if you have here a buy and you float 2% somewhere here, then you lock in your profits there. However, this strategy, let me check, minus 100, and we have a target of 100. This will never trail the stop loss, and I want to show you why that is. This buy pending has a target placed at a 1-to-1 risk to reward at 100% of the stop loss size. So when we hit 1%, we close automatically the trade. Well, the broker will do that.
Therefore, it doesn't make sense to have this management. So you can delete it if you want to. However, I want to show you also that you can change the stop loss or the target to maybe 500. And then, of course, when we trail, there you go. Then, of course, if we are floating 2%, then it will be interesting. So I made a combination here for you. We have certain big trades and certain small trades, and that is something you can test. You can of course see that here. If we go into the report, we can see we have 1.5 profit factor, and we have short trades and long trades. You see the strike rate on short trades is way lower than on long trades. Why is that? Because we have two different risk to rewards. So what I want you to do is to download this in the description below. I want you to test a 1-to-1 and a 1-to-500 with both of the targets. And then you have two homework assignments right now that you can test this strategy with a 1-to-5 risk to reward, which is this set right now. And then you also get it with a 1-to-100 risk to reward and test that. Do it on $yen. That's a nice start. And yeah, with that said, one more small tiny lesson is if you want to work with inputs and variables, then you can change it in the settings here in the inputs. So right now we don't have any settings, but if we, for instance, want to change the stop loss and the target easily or optimize the level, what I normally do is go to inputs, create a new input. That's a variable max. Let's go and create an input. I always do target and stop loss. Those are the two most important things for me. Then you have target and stop loss. And the stop loss you can do here. Let's make it 0.1 default. That's already set the right way. And then you have the target here. And you also have to put in stop loss and target here. If you now export this and load it in your MetaTrader, you will see target and stop loss here, and you can optimize it and you can change it directly in MetaTrader. And that's just making your building way faster and quicker, but you don't need to do that, okay? You don't need to do that, but I recommend you to do it because it saves you a lot of time. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one. Let me know in the comments if you tested this strategy, if you have questions about this strategy, and you can always join our Discord as well.